Last night I got to see an early screening of the movie Red 1. Was it good? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, my name is Bob and welcome to Was It Good, where I give you my movie and TV show reviews. And like I said, we're going to be talking about the movie Red 1. This is actually the second Christmas movie in the last few days that I'm reviewing, so let's see if it's any good. Now, as I said, this was an early access screening, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you don't need to worry about any spoilers, as I am going to keep this review spoiler free. Now, if you did see it, I'd like to know what you thought. Why don't you go ahead and share your comments in the comments section below? Let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think The Rock's good for this type of movie? Is this something you were looking forward to? I'd really like to know what you thought. And if you haven't seen it, why don't you go ahead and let me know what your interest level was. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. When a dastardly villain threatens to destroy Christmas by kidnapping Santa Claus from the North Pole, an ELF operative joins forces with the world's most accomplished tracker in hopes to find him and save Christmas. Now, when I first saw the trailer, I was interested in this film. I liked the concept of it, and it's got a pretty good cast in it. The cast is headlined by The Rock, and it sees him reunited with Jake Kasdan, who directed the last two Jumanji films, which I really enjoyed. So with this cast, director, and a trailer that looked kind of fun, what did I think? Let me start off by saying I think the cast is really good in this movie. I think that they're all having a blast, and you can tell nobody's really taking themselves too seriously. They're just going in there and having a really good time with this, and they're just letting it all out. So again, the cast is headlined by The Rock, and he plays this ELF operative. He's basically the head elf who's in charge of protecting Santa Claus. And he teams up with Chris Evans.
I could do this all day.
And they basically go on this buddy cop adventure to rescue Santa Claus and save Christmas. And I thought it was a lot of fun watching the two of them interact together. Now, do they have the best chemistry for a buddy cop movie? Not really, but I did think that it worked well for this film, and I enjoyed the two of them together. I also thought several of the other cast members were really good. First off, you got Lucy Liu, who I've always been a big fan of, and I really liked her role in this film. I thought she was a lot of fun, and you could tell she was having a good time. But the highlight of the cast has easily got to be J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus. He plays a very different type of Santa. He's jacked to the bone, he's lifting weights, and you can tell he's having a blast with this movie. He was easily my favorite character, and he was a lot of fun. I also liked the concept of the story. This idea that Santa Claus would be kidnapped from the North Pole and these two had to go off and rescue him in order to save Christmas. I thought that would make for a fun adventure. And for the most part, I think that it did. It was executed pretty well for most of the movie. And again, I thought the cast did a pretty good job in bringing this story to life. I thought that was a lot of fun. Also, several of the designs throughout the film I thought were pretty good, whether it be several of the mythological creatures or the reindeer, the sleigh, the North Pole, several of the devices that the characters would use. There were a lot of things here I thought that were just really cool concepts, and I liked the way they were designed. Finally, there is some heart at the core of the story, despite all the fantastical things that are going on, and I really enjoyed that. You've got these two main characters that have something missing in their lives, and they need to find that in order to be able to be fulfilled. And the arc that they go on, I thought was a lot of fun for the most part, and it was very satisfying to me in the end. Now, is this anything that's going to win an Academy Award as far as the way that the story's built? Not really, but I thought that the arc was satisfying enough, and I really enjoyed it. Now, there are some weaknesses to the film, and the first is the villain. I think the villain is very forgettable in this film, and the motivation that they have for wanting to destroy and kidnap Santa Claus, I didn't find that to be very intriguing at all. The villain was easily one of the weaker characters to me. Also, I do think that the last third of the film is where the film started to get a little bit weaker as you got into the climax of the film. And again, that involves the villain, which goes back to the problem that I had there being a very forgettable villain and the motivation for that. It just wasn't connecting with me. I really enjoyed the first two-thirds of the film a lot more than that last third. Finally, I think some of the CGI is a little bit wonky. Now, most of it I think is fine, but there is a couple of parts where I think yeah, you can tell it's definitely CGI and it looks like it's bad CGI. But for the most part, I think it was fine. But again, I did want to point out there was a couple of parts where I thought it was a little wonky. Real quick, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to remind you to go ahead and check out my other videos. Maybe there's something I reviewed that you're interested in or that you've seen already. Why don't you go ahead and check out the videos and leave a comment and let me know what you thought. Also, for those that are interested, I do have another YouTube channel with a couple of my friends where we put on a show called Dad's Turn to Talk. This is an opportunity for three dads to get together and talk about the things that we want to talk about, including movies, sports, pop culture, and have a little bit of fun at each other's expense. The link to that channel will be in the description below. Go check it out and hit the subscribe button. Final thoughts. Was it good? I had a really good time with this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I did see that the critics weren't too excited about it, but I do think this is a film that the general audience is going to enjoy for the most part. If you enjoyed the last two Jumanji films, which I happen to enjoy, I do think that you're going to enjoy this. I don't think this is the next It's a Wonderful Life. This is not a Christmas classic by any means, but I do think this is a movie that you can just go and have a good time with. So if you're looking for something fun to do over the holidays, I say go ahead and check it out. Now, if you're still watching this long, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.